Hi, John Marshall, DrillMaster. This is Shelton, NJROTC, Unarmed Regulation Sequence. So, yeah, this is the fall-in. And just like I said for the some different right arm swings there. Interesting, huh? So, this isn't how we fall in. We don't march in formation up to and then fall in. You're already in formation. That would mean that the commander needs to march you out. So you're not falling in as would be normal. Also, when you fall in, now, for those of you who think that the guidon bearer needs to go up and stand right next to the commander and march off how many ever steps, and then march over here so many steps, and then execute a left face, and then everybody else falls in. Nope, that doesn't happen. The guidon bearer eyeballs a 6-inch or 3-inch, depending on who's commanding at the time. Not 6-inch, 6-step or 3-step distance, and then approximates the center of the platoon or flight on the commander, and this isn't even close. So now I get it that okay, so slight adjustment there, and that's fine. So the commander's slight adjustment on the initial fall in, that's fine. Guidon bearer is not supposed to fall in to where everything is in exact detail with precise measurement. It's just an eyeball, just a guess of, all right, so we're about 6 steps back, okay, and then maybe I need to take another right step over here. Okay, good. Now I'm set. That's the way it happens. That's the way we fall in. So that salute, the hand doesn't come out, the hand comes up and down, just like that. Just like that. That was better. Really well executed for that salute. Nice job, team. Yep. So what's the distance between the heels at parade rest? Does anybody know? All right, it's supposed to be 12 inches. And it looks pretty consistent. A couple of minor. So you can look at the guidon bearer, and you can look at her feet, his, pretty much hers. It just depends. But you're all in the general area. I would definitely encourage her to put that left foot out there a little bit more. But still, arms look great as well. Looking at shoulders. So just a little bit of over rotation of some shoulders, and I'm talking about her right here, and I'll be looking for others. But watch her shoulders. Watch her left shoulder come forward and then come slightly back. Good popping to attention, by the way. Yeah, not a lot of over rotation on the shoulders, except that young lady over there. So, slight end step, and I didn't talk about this with the armed platoon, a slight end step variation. And I will explain the end step in just a second. Okay, so end step. So by the right flank, march. The next step that you take, I call that the end step. The end step is the last step you take in the current direction, which applies to a halt. It applies to any other pivot, okay? So here we're going to take that end step and then pivot and then bring the right foot out. So there's two things that have to happen with the end step. The end step has to have what's called the walking base. You need to keep your personal walking base. The walking base depends on your hips and how far apart your bones are set, and it's all a very individual thing, okay? So some people have a 3-inch, some people have a 5-inch, some people have a little more, a little less, all the variations in between, but usually it's anywhere within 3 inches to 5 inches. Your feet, as you're walking, as you're marching, that's why it's called a walking base. You have that distance between both feet, and you can run 2 lines and then have your feet along those 2 lines there. Now, if your end step needs to keep your walking base. You also need to have the same distance for your end step that you did for every other step. Now, usually we don't march at an exact 30 inches. Sometimes it's around 26, 28. Doesn't matter. As long as everybody's taking the same length step, you are perfectly covered as far as marching forward. You're keeping your alignment, you're keeping your dress. And alignment and spacing, sorry. What was I thinking? So you keep your alignment and spacing. Now, to maintain your alignment and spacing through the pivot, you need to maintain your walking base. You need to have the end step the same length, measured from heel to heel, same length as every other step. Everybody else needs to take the exact same length end step, keep their personal walking base, and then pivot to then keep to recreate that walking base again in the new direction. So as what you can see is, I will pause this right in just a second here. All right, so you can see her foot is on this line. I'm sorry, I'm picking on you again. Don't mean to, but it's you're on the line. We can also see that whoever is here is on this line, but not on the line, and definitely not on the line. So we can use that line as an indicator of where the end steps ended. All right. Now, notice that everybody is in a certain phase of transition to kicking that right foot out. But watch what happens to, I'm pointing like you can see. So watch what happens to her, and also watch what happens to her. Now, they pivot on the line, both of them pivot on the line, but they have to adjust and move over to their left. So there's an issue with the end steps. Hers might have been shorter, and then this cadet's here might have been longer. And same here, same with this rank. So there's a variation in that end step, and that means adjustments have to be made. Now, as far as adjustments, you're immediate. You're doing it within 2 steps, and that's fantastic. That really works well. However, if you want to get exact, then your end step needs to be exact. All right, I'll try not to be as long as I was on the last video. So I mentioned that on the way in, I saw a right hand that wasn't coming out as far as the left. And I mentioned also, and I saw his right hand not coming as far forward as his left. So, and I mentioned already that, you know, the facing movement with the to the rear. It's a depot thing. It's just something imaginary, so that the commander doesn't lose command of the formation, which means the commander must always face the formation. And that's not so. It should be right face, left step, right step, and then face, and you get through it. Instead of right step. There's no sense, and I said it before with the armed, there's no sense really in checking the front and the rear. You check the rear, period. You get on with it. Nicely done, Commander. And team, you're looking. Look at the. Why aren't you moving, Commander? No, you don't move later. You move with. So, and that's also in. Let's see. Look at. So in. I tell you what. Let me pause this. I'll get back. Okay, so Chapter 9, Platoon Drill, 3 posts of, paragraph 3, posts of the individuals, sorry. And then we have an explanation under 3E, paragraph E, and subparagraph E, subparagraph 1 with parentheses. If the platoon is executing a right step, the platoon commander who is facing the platoon executes a left step in cadence. So, and it's vice versa. It doesn't matter, because it also talks about, left step. It wouldn't be something for one way and not the other. So you don't stay still, and you don't face and march like this. It has to be with the platoon. The commander moves with the platoon almost every single time. There's only very few instances. And you march forward, Commander. So, what is a backwards step? How far is it? How far of a step do you take? Because that was tiny, teeny tiny. Yeah, you're taking maybe 4-inch steps. And what is a back step? A back step is half of a full step, just the same as half step, just the same as right, left step. It's all 15 inches. So that was not the correct technique. And also, Commander, you've got to march forward at half step, not stay still. Great precision. Honestly, team, you really have excellent precision. Good push off as well. That first step can be difficult for some, but as long as you're pushing down with the right heel, everything's fine. You're speeding up, slightly speeding up. So you know, the Marine Corps doesn't execute counter column. It looks to be about a 15-inch step too. That's not bad. So commander, yeah, you're doing the best you can to catch up. That's good. Well done, team. And then, just as I said, for the armed commander, you should be marching in place there, commander. Feet are lifted a little too high, and it's not a... oh yeah, that's pretty good as far as distance is concerned. So the whole team should have stepped off there. So I understand the stomp that comes about. It's easy to stomp. It's much more difficult not to stomp, which means good job. But you're moving out because you're going to give them a flank? I don't know. Much more difficult. All that should have been done with the platoon instead of you standing there. You're marching the platoon. That means you are marching with the platoon, taking them through a series of movements, a sequence. Anyway, getting back to the not stomping, use your muscles. You need to lift and place each foot at half step. And I really understand it is very easy to, and I'm not talking about tiptoeing and trying to be as quiet as possible. Great. Guidon bearer, excellent. First squad leader. And second and third squad leaders, everybody, boy. So had to play some catch up at the end there. Kind of, yeah, some spacing difficulties there, and I do think that comes from the end step. Let's go back. I know, it's 20 minutes. Yeah, that's end steps. So what... oh, sorry, got too far back. Watch these two. So what he did, and sorry, I can't place him exactly. He might be the squad leader. I'm not exactly sure. Anyway, what he did was after his he flanked, and then he didn't create his walking base. He moved like this, which pulled him away from the cadet on his right. And so he didn't create his walking base. He marched and went to walk the tightrope. Even if it was just for one step, it still throws off the spacing there. Not necessarily the alignment, but the spacing. Watch. See how he steps in front? Yeah, so that was 2 steps walking the tightrope. And then I don't know what happened here. They recovered. That's good. There wasn't a recovery here. Yeah, not as smooth and precise as it could have been. But still, you've practiced and practiced and practiced this. So to the rear hard, you're supposed to take a half step, turn, and then step off, and I didn't see half steps there. Yeah, variation in the step size. Nice job. Oh, and then you get into the exhibition sequence. Well, then, all right, so I'll end this here with just the regulation sequence, and I'll get to the exhibition sequence. So thank you so much for the request. And every single time I do a critique, I learn something. Even if it's just gaining some experience, but I also get to go through the Marine Corps order. And if you have anything that, any comments, then definitely please leave them below. You can message me, not a problem at all. And if we need to talk more or just questions or whatever, but I do appreciate it. Thank you for watching.